Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome back to the free-to-play review for the third time this week, it feels like. But yes, we are reviewing this time the Supporters Summon Pool, the latest iteration of the Summon Pool. And in this case, we have a decent mix of a lot of pretty hardcore supports, some of which are good, some of which are decent. Honestly, it's just a very, very good pool. But we have Glaicad of the Meltwater, kind of like a more PvE style of Duchess, although I have seen him in Arena. He has this full revive, but if it's not used as a revive, increased accuracy, increased defense, really strong ability, but he also has increased attack and Veil. So great for Hydra, great for Arena, increased attack, increased defense, so he can power up both types of nukers, or at least attack and defense based. We have Pythion, way old school fusion at this point, but a really decent super tanky champion, AoE full revive, cleanse with some healing and block debuffs. We have Duchess, of course, popular for the passive take less damage from AoE attacks, full team revive with the Veil, and then of course the Veil with the increased attack and block debuffs. We have Grand Oak Patrick, one of the best ally attack champions in the game, and he is great for Hydra, great for hard mode Fire Knight. Notable, the speed in Dungeons Aura, really solid for hard mode Fire Knight. But you have a turn meter fill, full cleanse, increased speed, and then the ally attack here that will fully restore destroyed max HP. Again, good for Hydra, but also good is against the Fire Knight for when he destroys your max HP. Lord Entertainer Fabian, one of the more recent fusions in the game, of course, super powerful in the arena, but also serviceable somewhat in PvP with the True Fears from this, as well as the revive. But of course, the lockout is the main thing here with the buff duration decrease, which can be a cleanse of sorts, and it's polymorph proof. We have Nekmo Thar, one of the best, formerly one of the best Hydra champions, but now kind of found his niche more so in the Chimera. So one of the best Chimera champions in terms of keeping your team running, healing them up with Leech, controlling the boss with decreased speed, helping your team turn meter fill, increase speed, as well as decreased attack on the A1. So super strong, great for trials, great for keeping your team running. And then lastly, Theodore, one of the best like solo duo champions in the game. He kind of fell off a little bit just because Dragon's a little less popular, but for like Spider, he's still good for certain compositions. I use him in my team. And then like, you know, normal mode dungeons as well, Dragon, Spider, Ice Golem, etc. You kind of name it. HP or AoE poisons, as well as poison activation and HP burn activation here with decreased speed on the A1. So super powerful champions there. So again, if you get any one of these legendaries, especially if you don't have one, it's a very, very good selection. So good odds there. I don't actually know what this guy does. Let's see. Attack an enemy, steal some turn meter, one enemy, debuff or buff spread, and then intercept on one target ally, and then block debuffs on everyone. I think he's probably the weakest of the bunch. So that's probably, I mean, I didn't really know what he did, and that kind of tells you everything you need to know about him. But like I said, 7 out of 8 legendaries are super solid, especially if you don't have them. And then for the epics, decent mix of supports. There are some like Lady Mikage epics in here. We got Aelfrig, I believe is his name. If I can say it, apparently not. But Achak the Wanderer can be useful. Curse City, AoE freeze, AoE HP burn. Good for Spider control, normal mode. We have Doom Priest, powerful for her passive, the cleanse with every ability. Mordecai, one of the more accessible AoE HP burn champions, F for epics, and he is affinity friendly because he just places it to AoE. Use him for another Spider. Gorgrab, decent for like faction wars, but just AoE revive, some healing. Could be good, useful early game if you need him for arena. Deacon Armstrong, one of the best epics in the entire game. It keeps your team running with turn meter filled, turn meter decrease, AoE decreased defense, and the leech on the A1. Jorg is kind of like another Gorgrab, increased attack, turn meter fill, and then a little revive with some Veil. Stagnite, also one of the best epics in the game. AoE decreased defense, decreased attack, decreased speed on the A1. So those are kind of the more notable champions from this pool. But like I said, lots of good champions across the board from the epics and the legendaries. More so stacked in the legendaries, but there are a decent amount of good epics. And so the rates here, in this case, we have 40 Prism fragments for one summon, and we have the standard rates here, 6% for legendary, 94% chance to get an epic, i.e. effectively a sacred shard. And in this case, we do have one air quotes free summon that we can earn from the Gear Ascension tournament. Unfortunately, it is way up there at 12,000 points. So you're gonna have to be running Sand Devil and or Phantom Shogun's Grove, stage 25, ideally, for a decent amount of energy in terms of getting all the way out there. But nonetheless, there's not much else going on right now. There is like a champion training deck of fate or a / soulstone summoning deck of fate. But if you're not doing that and you really need a place to burn your energy, this might be the way to go. And you can, again, like I said, take your shot and hope that you can roll on the legendary table, because you could get something pretty darn amazing. Now, in my case, as you might be able to tell here, I'm not participating in this. I was highly considering it because I do want to get Duchess I would like to get her, but there are a lot of legendaries up for grabs, which is like a good thing and a bad thing, because that just lowers the odds that you're going to get the one that you actually want. So even if I were to get the 6% chance to get a legendary, there's only a 1 in 8 chance that that legendary would be Duchess. So the odds are pretty darn slim, on top of the, of course, 94% chance to get an epic, which is the most likely outcome. And again, for the way I play the game, I think about what's more likely to happen, even though here and there I do like to see what if luck might have its way and shoot my shot accordingly. But in this case, I'm just not feeling like it's worth it. However, I would have been more tempted if the clan shop had given me the 1000 energy for, or given us all, I should say, the 1000 energy for the week. I would have considered throwing that into Sand Devil, because I need to do that anyways, and then just making decent amount of headway towards getting all the way up to 12k. But with that not having be the case, I'd have to burn probably a decent amount of gems to get this done, and it just doesn't feel worth it for a minuscule shot at Duchess, even though it would be amazing if the stars aligned and that was the outcome. And then moreover, I am working on the Deck of Fate. As you can see here, we're almost at 10,000 points, and I'm doing this so far entirely via champion training, so that is where my energy is being focused on over the next couple of days. And then I'll consider, once I finish champion training, see how close I am to finishing it out, if I want to burn some soul stones during the 2x Altar of Souls boosted rates or whatever, and see if we want to finish out the entire deck. For a little bit more context here, you could ask a very, very appropriate question of why on earth do I care about this Deck of Fate, at least for the champion training aspect, and that is because I do have a goal here of trying, we'll see if it happens, but I want to see if I can manage to beat the entirety of Centranos here on hard mode. So we have 2 stages to go, and so I am actively working on building up some champions. I just 6-starred Fodbar the Bard, and I'm going to try this one after he's a little bit further leveled, and then this stage here I'm working on, I think, Nizana for this slot here, so I need to 6-star her as well. So the timeline for this is kind of shrunk, and so I have less than a week, or basically 1 week, to get that done. And so because this is probably going to be the only champion training opportunity before the Curse City resets, I have been focusing my energy there. That way I can see if I can actually beat the entirety of the stage. Otherwise, I would have just skipped the entirety of the Deck of Fate most likely, and then I would be grinding away in the Gear Ascension tournament, regardless of the fact that there may or may not have been clan shop energy. And so just kind of missing out, unfortunately, on the summon pool, because I'm prioritizing my efforts towards progression in the Cursed City. But of course, that's just what I'm doing in my personal situation. Your situation probably is very, very different. So again, I do encourage most of you guys to be working on the Gear Ascension tournament, trying to max it out, and just shooting your shot and hoping that you get something from the legendary pool here in the support summon pool. So with that said, that is going to do it for this free-to-play review of the supporters summon pool. Let me know in the comment section down below what your plan is relative to this particular iteration of the summon pool. Are you going to go for the air quotes free summon, or are you skipping it? I do know a lot of people are skipping the Deck of Fate, so let me know if you're skipping this summon pool as well. As always, if you did find this video helpful, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel, and feel free to hit that subscribe button down below as well if you are enjoying the content overall on this channel for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.